Hello class. Tonight let's talk a little bit more about division. Now the first thing that I have is we need to practice our math facts, and then we'll go on to a division problem that we can talk about because it isn't quite right. Here we go. We're going to do eights tonight. Pretty soon we'll have a mix. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 9 is 72. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 7 is 56. And 8 times 8 is 64. Now please remember to practice those over and over until you have them learned so that you can know them quickly and they'll just be a help to you in your division. All right, here's a problem that that has been done with a few little mistakes in it. But the thing I wanted to talk about with this problem is talking about checking to see if something is reasonable. Is it a reasonable answer? And there's a couple things we can look at when we finish dividing something. The first thing we can look at is we can say if we had 218 pebbles, little pretty rocks, we decided we were going to put them into 3 even piles. Does it make sense that you would have 600 in each pile? If you started out with only 200, it doesn't seem reasonable to me that you would end up with 600. Now another way we can check this, because this one it kind of looks, you can tell by thinking that way that there's something wrong. But there's another way to check on division to know if the problem is right, if it's a reasonable problem. And instead of actually doing, well, let me show you. The first way is to actually do the multiplication problem. So we would take 612 and we would multiply that by 3. So do you see here we have 612. And we would multiply it by 3 because 612 times 3 should equal this number. So let's go ahead and do that math. That would be 6, 3, 1800. That tells us right there we have a little bit of a problem because this number that we got should have been pretty close to this number. In fact, it should have been exact by the time we added 2 onto it for the remainder. So let's add on our remainder. That gives us, okay, so that gives us that number, which is clear to see that that doesn't make sense because this number is so much different than this number. But another thing we could do, instead of doing this very specific math, we could just take our answer. We could take, like, it's 612. Our answer is 612. We could just take, let's just say it's 600. And we can even do that one in our head. But let's do it here on paper. And that would give us, and right off, without even having the exact numbers, with just kind of estimating, an answer of 600 times 3, we end up with 1800. We know that there's a problem with this problem. We know that it is not correctly done. So then we can go back and try to find our mistake. What I'm wanting you to notice here tonight is that when we finish our math problems, when we finish our division problems, we should look at them to see if it's reasonable. Does it make sense? Because sometimes mistakes are made. Everyone makes mistakes. So sometimes a mistake is made and we don't really recognize what has happened, but we can look at our answer and know that that just doesn't seem right. So that's what we'll be working on a little bit more in class. Here's how we checked to see if it was right. We multiplied it exactly, but we could save ourselves time by even just doing an estimate, just an estimate of what that answer would be, and it would be 1,800. And again, we know that that isn't even close, nowhere near close to 218. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for watching the video, and tomorrow in math, we'll do more division. We'll become even more proficient, and we will be able to discover and find out if our answers seem reasonable, which will help us to know if it's good to just go on, if we have accomplished what we need to, and if it's accurate. I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow in math.